Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me here at the First Alert Desk. My name's Karli Barnett. We want to give you a look at some of the stories that we have been following today. Some of these we're going to preview ahead to a little bit later this evening, and some of them are kind of where things stand now from what we told you about a little bit earlier. We didn't have a 6 o'clock newscast like we thought we would tonight, but you can join us tonight at 10 on Peachtree TV and 11 on CBS. We're going to have First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin give you your forecast in just a few minutes, and you're going to want to stay tuned for that because there is a First Alert weather day, and it's going to be at the beginning of your week. So definitely stay with us for a few minutes, but I do want to give you a look at some of the headlines that we are following for your Saturday night. This is a story that I was on pretty much all afternoon yesterday myself, along with Adam Murphy. We had reporter Bridget Spencer out there this morning, and then we had Joshua Skinner out there this evening. This is just honestly a really wild sequence of events. Reporter Joshua Skinner, he's going to give you the latest on where things stand, but what we do know so far is that the suspect is still in the hospital tonight. This is the result of a triple shooting in which this person went to a convenience store, which is also a taxpayer's office inside, or a tax preparer's office inside, rather, an apartment building where police say he stole another car there and then drove to another location, another home, in which he's accused of shooting a construction worker there after a brief chase in Cobb County. Powder Springs police ultimately apprehended him. He was taken to the hospital after crashing his car into a tree. That is a very brief little bit of background there, but I just want to make sure that I have a little bit of a summary because I do know that a lot of these details are confusing, but Joshua Skinner is going to break it all down for us. Now, I want to be clear here. Sorry, guys, that may not have had the element of video that I thought it did in that story, but I do just want to recap what we know about this particular case. That one man has died, 2 are injured, and the alleged shooter still in the hospital tonight in critical condition after what police said was a shooting spree in and around Forest Park yesterday. The suspect was identified as Victor Demetrius Bayman. We learned that this was not his first run-in with the law. It was back in 2017. Police tell us he's accused of shooting a woman and ramming a police cruiser with a U-Haul. Again, just to recap some of those details, police say it was around 10:30 a.m. yesterday that he followed his ex-girlfriend into that tax preparer's office with a rifle. He wound up shooting and killing the tax preparer as well as shooting another individual that was in the convenience store up front. When he walked out into the parking lot, that's when Forest Park police say he stole a car, drove it just about 2 minutes away to the Midwood Forest apartment complex. From there, that's when police say he stole another car and drove that to the 4300 block of Old Jonesboro Road, where police say he shot and injured a construction worker outside. At that point, a manhunt was underway. Now, We spoke to Forest Park Police Chief Brandon Criss, and he said that these were all random acts of violence. So at this time, they have no motive for these crimes other than they say that these were completely random acts of violence. Later in the evening, it was just around 6 o'clock when we had learned that he had been apprehended in Cobb County. We spoke with Powder Springs Police, who say that it was flock cameras or license plate detectors that picked up that car, and police gave pursuit due to the nature of the crimes, he said. And what happened was the suspect, Bayman, apparently went into the wrong lanes of travel, and then when he tried to get back over, crashed into a tree in the median. The car caught fire, and that is why Bayman is in the hospital, as we mentioned, in critical condition. We have a lot more information if you want to read through it all on atlantanewsfirst.com, or you can watch it on our app as well. I know I gave you a lot of information. I just want to make sure you all have the details on this story. Moving on to something that you may have seen this video. If not, we're going to play it for you now because it is pretty shocking. If you have a flight with Alaska Airlines, well, that may be canceled or delayed. You're probably going to want to check out that information because some Boeing planes rather are being temporarily grounded after an Alaska Airlines panel blowout. Take a look at that. I mean, can you even imagine? We were all talking today just about how terrifying that situation would be. The FAA says all 737 MAX 9 planes have to be parked until emergency inspections are performed. The FAA says those inspections will take around 4 to 8 hours per aircraft. An Alaska Airlines plane had to make an emergency landing in Oregon after a fuselage plug appeared to have blown off in mid-flight. The grounding order is going to impact about 170 aircrafts. It's already impacting at least 2 flights out of Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. So, as they say, if you have a flight booked with them, go ahead and check your ticket before you head to the airport because there's probably going to be a lot of changes with these planes. Of course, it's not necessarily just exclusive to Alaska Airlines, so this has been ordered by the FAA until all of those planes can be inspected. All right, so how are you feeling out there? Feeling a little sniffly, a little run down. It wouldn't be surprising because flu numbers are on the rise here in Georgia specifically. Some information for you here. We have Georgia's top health officials urging everyone to get a flu shot as more and more cases are reported across the state. The latest numbers from our Department of Public Health show widespread illnesses throughout Georgia, with the latest report listing flu activity at its highest level this season. 10 people, we have learned, have died from the flu since October 7th, with the latest death reported right after Christmas. 274 people had to be hospitalized because of the flu that same week, and health experts say a flu shot can help reduce the severity. So, of course, if you're not feeling well, try to lay low. And if you haven't gotten a flu shot already, doctors do say that could help mitigate some of the worst of the effects of this. So sad news to report with these flu numbers, but always good to try to stay healthy and try to get out ahead of it if you can. All right, the next thing we want to do is give you a little live look outside tonight. Take a look. Beautiful night here in Atlanta, but probably cold outside and more. Well, of course, we're going to look ahead to the weekend, the rest of the weekend, but we also want to look ahead to next week because we have a first alert weather day that we have to be aware of, Cutter.
We do. Enjoy tomorrow. That's probably the most sunshine we'll see. Nearly complete sun with any luck, fingers crossed, for a bit tomorrow. It could be the most sunshine we see for several days, so do keep that in mind. Big changes on the way. Tuesday is obviously the glaring part of the first alert 7-day forecast where the day with the most impactful weather, I should say. So just keep that in mind. We're going to be watching the potential, really the likelihood at this point for weather to really have a grip on your Tuesday plans. But in the meantime, as we set up our weather graphics, and get everything ready to go. Just want to remind you, you can ask any weather questions, address any comments, concerns that you may have with the forecast at Atlanta News First on YouTube. Again, just follow our YouTube account. You don't even have to like and follow it, actually. You can just watch this particular feed and ask your questions, and I'll be here to answer those. Again, thank you for tuning in and for watching. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin, here with a check of your First Alert forecast, and it begins with decent conditions. It is chilly outside, but it's dry. That's, of course, some good news. You will need the heavy coat out the door tomorrow morning, and then Monday morning even colder, down to near freezing, and then the bigger changes are on the way in the First Alert forecast. We'll start with the look at the big picture, what's going on outside right now and beyond North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. Look across the southern plains and the west coast, tracking another coastal low, another strong storm system approaching North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. That will take a couple days to do so, but nonetheless, keep in mind that we are very confident in this forecast. And yes, we may be a couple days out from the biggest of impacts, but we are confident in the fact that it will impact your Tuesday plans, and we could even have some severe weather out of this particular weather setup. So again, bear with me here. I'm going to switch back over our weather graphics. Just bear with me real quick. And again, looking to hopefully get you through Tuesday without your plans being impacted too much. But beyond that, we are going to be watching a likely chance of widespread rain back in the First Alert forecast, a 100% chance at this point. And we are expecting even more of that as we get into next Friday. So again, two systems to watch and the First Alert forecast. Tuesday and Friday are going to be times to kind of keep a closer eye on the First Alert forecast here across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. Guys, we're just going to go ahead and go back to our weather graphic full screen. We're having some issues here. We'll try to work those out for you, but let's just get you right to the nitty-gritty here. And you can see that storm system approaching North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. That is still, though, hundreds of miles away, really 1,000 miles away at this point. And that system, we're very confident in the fact that it's going to swing through the southern plains. But ahead of that impactful storm system, we do have nicer weather on the way. Tomorrow it begins kind of chilly. Again, we'll look at current temperatures in a moment. First, though, out the door tomorrow morning, want to begin with your forecast. It will be pretty cold. Temperatures in the upper 30s and lower 40s. 36 in Kennesaw, 38 Roswell, 38 in Lawrenceville. In some communities, this is colder than it was this morning. 34 Blairsville, 35 Carrollton, 37 in Griffin, keeping it just a little bit, quote-unquote, warmer in the city of Atlanta. But keep in mind that with a light breeze, it will feel even chillier out there. So we are tracking kind of a colder start to our Sunday. And our Monday even colder than that. So we're going to be tracking that potential for widespread chilly weather back in the First Alert forecast. Now we have our weather graphics fixed as they should be, so hopefully this will better help tell the First Alert forecast, that weather story for your Sunday. Colder out the door tomorrow morning. We will begin with some clouds, but I do think that as we go through the day, we will see improving conditions. More sunshine in the First Alert forecast. Again, brunch cast tomorrow. Obviously, it's a Sunday. A lot of folks getting up and at 'em pretty early and trying to get outdoors, meet friends, loved ones for brunch. Maybe after church you have brunch plans, 10, 11, noon. Temperatures in the mid to upper 40s, so it will be chilly. What I want you to notice is that wind already starting to kick up just a little bit tomorrow. I would say sustain 10 to 12 as an average tomorrow, 10, 11, noon. That'll make those 40s feel like 30s, especially if you're sitting in the shade. And there could be quite a bit of cloud cover initially in the morning, especially Atlanta points north and northwest, and then eventually breaking out into more sunshine as we get into tomorrow afternoon. That will allow temperatures to recover back into the upper 40s to near 50, kind of a fresh batch of chillier air settling back into North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. So it will be chilly, don't get me wrong. Despite being sunnier tomorrow, there will be quite a bit of chill in the air. So make sure you are bundled up, wearing your extra layers. Atlanta briefly up to about 50. Gainesville, your high temperature 48. Athens is at 50. Rome 49. Noonan at 50 for a high temperature tomorrow. But with the breeze factored in, again, as we just talked about, it's going to feel even chillier. Now let's start with the hour-by-hour forecast here, and I'm going to walk you hour by hour starting tomorrow afternoon. We'll walk you through Monday, and then when the more impactful weather arrives, again, that is Tuesday. Just want to walk you through that 24, 36 hour period or so right here to kind of give you the lay of the land as to how this will all unfold. So let's start tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. Again, temperatures largely in the 40s. We're dry, more sunshine tomorrow. Could be some higher elevation sprinkles and light snow in East Tennessee and western North Carolina. Not expecting any of that in our North Georgia mountains, a dry day and with more sunshine even up there. Tomorrow evening, quickly chillier after sunset. You can thank the clear sky for that. You know, it gives us nice sunshine in the afternoon, but that same clear sky allows temperatures to quickly cool as we get into our Sunday evening. Out the door Monday morning, clouds already starting to increase. Once again, these are high-level clouds initially, though. If anything, they're just going to enhance our sunrise, give us a prettier sunrise on our Monday morning. And it will be cold. Clayton, 27. Blue Ridge, 25. 7 a.m. Monday, about 28 or so in LJ. Going just above freezing in the city of Atlanta, but that's the Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport thermometer that we're forecasting for. I think many neighborhoods, even inside the perimeter, right around 32 or so officially at freezing Monday morning. Now going deeper into our Monday, again, keep in mind, and what you can't see on this particular graphic is that it will be breezy and then eventually windy Monday. So by noon, it's breezy. Clouds are increasing, not as much sunshine by noon. Temperatures are stuck in the 40s, so it'll feel chilly. And then a more impactful storm system approaches Tuesday. So kind of Monday is our transition day from a pretty nice Sunday to something that is a little cloudier, and then eventually much stormier across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. And you're going to kind of watch that progression here as we go through our forecast model. Again, noon Monday, clouds increasing. By 3, 4, 5 p.m. Monday, still mostly cloudy, if not overcast, so with temperatures in the mid to upper 40s. Now, Monday night, temperatures are not going to drop that much because clouds will really thicken up. Case in point, 8 p.m., notice those bright and kind of thick whites moving in from the west. Those are thick, initially high-level clouds, and then mid-level clouds, and then low clouds, acting like a blanket to keep temperatures nearly steady. They're just not cooling very much Monday evening into Monday night. First few drops of rain look to hold off, at least for a little bit here, but if you do have Monday evening plans late, 9, 10 p.m., it's worth watching the forecast. Isolated showers possible the last couple hours of our Monday. And then again, Tuesday is a first alert weather day. I'm going to pause this at midnight Tuesday. Notice widespread rain, not just North Georgia, not just Metro Atlanta, but much of the Mid-South, the Gulf Coast, the Southeast, all impacted by the same storm system that will really have its grip over a large portion of the southeastern and eastern United States as we get into initially to our west Monday, our Tuesday, and even the Northeast could be impacted into Wednesday. For us, the impacts will be from heavy rain, gusty winds, and the potential for isolated severe thunderstorms. Heavy rainfall totals 2 to 4 inches. That's going to be a good average there. 1 to 3, 2 to 4. We've been going back and forth a little bit there as data has evolved. I would say up to 4 inches is probably a better way to put it. And some could even see just more than 4. And I think just about everybody, 100% of us, see more than 1.5 inches. That's kind of the low ball, the beginning of the spectrum, up to about 4 inches or so. The majority of that falling between Monday night and early Tuesday afternoon, so about maybe a 12 to 14 hour period or so. Heavy rain may be widespread. That's what everyone deals with, but a few strong to severe thunderstorms could be embedded within the rain shield as well. Now, the risk of that occurring is greater south of Metro Atlanta. Think Randolph County in Alabama, Troup County in Georgia, LaGrange over to Meriwether County, Upson County, the Thomaston, Georgia area, on to the north and east, Lamar County, and then Eatonton and the Putnam County area, Lake St. Clair and Oconee, roughly, south of Metro Atlanta, but a place that is still within our Atlanta News First viewing area and a place that we are responsible for forecasting for. So even though the risk is lower for Metro Atlanta, I certainly want to drive home the point that there is that risk of a few severe thunderstorms, and the greatest risks from those storms will be wind gusts 60 to 65 miles an hour, and isolated spin-up tornadoes, certainly a possibility as well. And on that note of wind, it's going to be windy across the board. Everyone dealing with windy conditions on our Tuesday, even outside of any thunderstorms. Widespread sustained winds, 20 to 30. We're talking widespread gusts, 35 to 45 miles an hour across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. And again, that is not with the strongest thunderstorms. Everybody dealing with those types of winds. So when the ground becomes saturated, you get winds like that. It's easier for trees to come down, easier for power outages to occur. So something we're certainly going to be watching here for you. Streaming you updates, ANF Plus keeping you updated at AtlantaNewsFirst.com, the Atlanta News First app, First Alert weather app, inside and outside of newscast. A pretty busy weather pattern is ahead of us. Tomorrow, more sunshine, 50. Again, get outside tomorrow if you can. Looks nice. Perhaps the nicest day of the next 7, even though it's going to be chilly. Majority of the day spent in the 40s. Some beginning in the 30s. Even portions of the metro beginning tomorrow in the 30s. And then colder Monday morning, just above freezing in Atlanta. Just about everybody, I'd say 90-95% of us, actually 32 or colder. And then the clouds move in through the day Monday. That's going to cap our temperatures. Winds pick up too. So that 47, it will feel especially chilly. It will feel colder than 47 Monday afternoon. And then as we get into Tuesday, that's our first alert weather day. Remaining cool all day long, though one factor we're going to be watching is how much warm air can surge into North Georgia. If you notice Tuesday's high temperature getting bumped up by the first alert weather team, let's say mid-60s, that risk of severe weather is also going to go up here across North Georgia and metro Atlanta. But so we'll be watching the setup and exactly how this tracks through the area, what the temperature profile is, but the potential is there certainly for some severe thunderstorms to occur. And the reason we're saying that greater risk is south of metro Atlanta is because that's where temperature profiles will be a little bit more suitable for severe storms to occur. We all have the spin in the atmosphere. We all have the wind energy needed for severe storms, but we may just not see those cloud tops get tall enough to really tap in and become organized enough to cash in on all the ingredients that are in place. So watching the potential, but we really need a little bit of a warm-up there for that Tuesday forecast to see, at least for the city of Atlanta, the immediate metro, that risk of severe weather starting to climb. We'll be watching that potential. And then as the system moves out, cold front swings in, colder air filters in, and we're going to wake up to cold, windy weather Wednesday. There could be a few mountain flurries and sprinkles, again, especially up in the mountains Wednesday. And then we're watching our next storm system late in the work week, and models having a decent handle, with Friday being the favored day for widespread wet weather. Could again be a few embedded rumbles of thunder, but the big question is, do we see any energy move through Thursday, kind of preceding the main system? Some data is indicating there could be a few showers Thursday. So Wednesday, Thursday, not completely dry, but decent for outdoor plans, just colder. And then Friday, system moves through behind it. You know the drill at this point. Colder, windier weather filters in. And all signs point to an active weather pattern lingering throughout the next 14 to 20 days, next 2 to 3 weeks. And in fact, there's another impactful storm system on the way beyond that 7-day forecast towards the end of the 10-day forecast, which you can get at AtlantaNewsFirst.com at any time, or in the Atlanta News First, or First Alert weather app, should say. Behind that system, the air could be even colder. We could be talking about Arctic air. In fact, there will be Arctic air moving into the United States as we get into not this coming week, but especially late this week, Pacific Northwest and portions of the Intermountain West, but for the heart of the country the following week. And how much of a taste we here in North Georgia and Metro Atlanta get of that Arctic air, still a little bit in question, but something we're going to be watching here for you pretty closely, and something that we just don't have a firm answer on just yet. Again, that is beyond the 7-day forecast. Between now and the end of the 7-day, 2 days to watch. Tuesday, a first alert weather day. Obviously, everyone's impacted. Morning commute's going to be disgusting. Probably will be some issues potentially. I should say potentially to probably. Again, it's a decent shot here. It's greater than 50%. A greater than 50% chance that your Tuesday morning commute is going to be nasty, and it may take much longer than it normally does to get in. And we could be dealing with some flooded roadways as we get into our Tuesday morning. So weather is impactful, and in some areas we're going to be watching that potential for a severe storm or two, hence the first alert weather day. Then a little better Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, first alert. Be aware, think first alert equals heads up. Be aware and alert that widespread rain, wet weather, plan adjusting sort of rain is back in the forecast Friday. So just wanted to check in, Ryder. We did not have an early evening newscast preempted by basketball, but we're always here to keep you updated. In addition to the ANF stream, you can get that forecast at AtlantaNewsFirst.com and in the First Alert Weather app. Coming up in about an hour and a half or so, I'm going to join Tori Cooper and Karli Barnett on Atlanta News First on Peachtree TV at 10 p.m. Atlanta CW affiliate, here to give you a check of the First Alert forecast. And then we'll be back on WANF, Atlanta News First, hopefully for the late news starting on time, hopefully at 11. But again, you can always grab the forecast there in the First Alert Weather app. Want to thank you for tuning in and for watching this check of the forecast. And a reminder, we're always here to keep you updated. In fact, I'm about to record a new video, put it in the First Alert Weather app. If you don't have the app, now's a good time to download. Just search Atlanta News First or First Alert Weather in your app or Google Play Store, and we will be updating the forecast. That storm system Tuesday, roughly still 60 hours out or so. There is room for adjustments, some minor alterations to the forecast, but I would plan on nasty weather, potential for severe weather moving through Tuesday. Again, the entire First Alert Weather team will be keeping you updated here, ANF Plus, AtlantaNewsFirst.com, in the First Alert Weather app, and on Atlanta News First.